Communicate, Include and Connect was a seminar organized by SIRI, which is Social Integration of Refugees through Education and Self-Employment. One of the priorities is to engage with people with a migration background through effective communication, and what they do is also share what they've learned in the field of diversity communication with people and organizations on a similar journey. The reason why I chose to attend this webinar was to learn how I could include people in a project in a way that they don't feel excluded. So this webinar helped me in that matter. The webinar was divided into 4 sessions, the first one being 37,000%, held by Jaco Correa, where he talks about the communication strategy that Siri uses to have a meaningful impact on the target group. 4 elements are taught here. We have to look at what the project is needed. So in terms of the pandemic that we are in, what we need is to be connected. Also, take into account what the project is how the project is wanted to be led, and find key elements. We also have to tackle both online and offline worlds. The second session was held by Katrin Bonner, which is called He or She Did It. She has conducted a few researches in communities that have a migration background, and she tells us one of the ways to reach them is through a mediator or a spokesperson, because they are known in the community and they have a big or a large network. The third session was held by Yaz O'Hara, she's the founder of the Worldwide Tribe Organization. It's an online community supporting refugees and asylum seekers globally. She tells us the importance of offline communication, such as talking to your friends and family members. So don't only focus on online communication. The last session was an interactive one in which a lot of questions were asked, but one of them was, how do you tackle language gaps in written communication? The most chosen answer was to use easy, short, and clear messages. Since we're talking about integration, it's best we use the language that the official language of the country in a simple way in order to let them integrate. And we can also use images, visuals, and icons. What I learned and also researched a bit about this webinar is that it's always important to adapt yourself so that the person you're talking to should identify themselves in you. We're talking about someone who has a migration background. We also have to build trust, and we also have to give importance to the offline world as well, because talking to our friends and families can help us achieve our goals. While researching, I also saw that it is important to listen more and talk less, because that way you'll give the person space to talk about how they feel like, and get more answers to, let's say, a survey that you're conducting. You should also get to know your target group as well. The fourth webinar is called From Anxiety to Optimal Well-Being, held by Dr. L. Reed Solik. He talks about how to overcome anxiety, which can lead to burnout, stress, and all types of psychological disturbances. 3 qualities that lead to anxiety that he noticed on his patients is that anxiety is mostly appears on people who are sensitive. So vulnerable people tend to experience anxiety, which tends to be at a greater degree of intense. So it's intense and also persistent. Those were the 3 qualities that leads to anxiety. This also leads to emotional changes such as fear, numb, anger, which can also lead to panic, terror, or any type of emotional paralysis. What I've learned is a way to tackle this and change this so that we experience less anxiety, he uses a symbol of transformation, which is like a butterfly. So each four corner of the wings of the butterfly can be, number one, recognize the symbols. So by recognizing that you are experiencing anxiety is one of the first steps. The second one is calming your arousal down. This is the second most important thing to get control of yourself, get to the root of the problem. The third thing is to transform this pattern of thinking that has become a habit. Break the pattern. The habits that we have of thinking negatively should be broken. This will lead us to embrace the discomfort, meaning that we've always been used to experience anxiety, and now that we are experiencing calmness, we should embrace it, which will then become a habit. This is a way to go from anxiety to optimal well-being. The last seminar is called Africa Diaspora Effect on Entrepreneurs. This has to do with the diaspora wanting to invest in Africa, but there are few barriers. But these barriers have to be broken because the diaspora has access to internet and they can invest easily. There are also companies that can help the diaspora to invest in Africa, which can also, by investing, can also lead to new jobs that the young generation in Africa is needing, and also to maintain an existing economy.